Good Monday morning, everybody. It is a brisk morning again today. We have had quite a stretch of weather here in the last week or 10 days. Most days have been down below zero at night, and then if it gets up into the teens, I mean in the single numbers or the low teens, that's about it. Today I think it is supposed to get close to 20 degrees, and tomorrow it's supposed to get to 30 degrees, so I'm really excited about that. But anyways, we are down here with Lady and Bill. Lady is on the left and Bill is on the right. As you know, you people have been watching my channel, Lady is an older horse that has had 3 foals in the last 3 years, and we're starting slowly to get her back into shape so she can do some more of the work here on the farm and in the woods. Just a quick little note, as I was putting the bridles on this morning, I thought about that and I wanted to talk about that even just a tiny little bit. How important it is to warm up their bits a little bit in this really cold, frigid weather. But it's really not a big deal to do it either. All you have to do is take your hand out of your glove and just hold your hand on that bit for just, 20 to 30 seconds. That's all it takes. It's not a big deal. Just when, for example, of what I know for sure that this works and works really good is I've done a lot of shoeing over the years, and I've done a lot of shoeing in really, really cold weather, and I tend to put the nails in my mouth when I'm shoeing, and bad idea when it's cold. Anyways, when it is cold, you put one of them in your mouth. It will stick to your lips and it's not fun. But all it takes is just a tiny little bit of blowing on that nail, and then you can put it right in your lips and it's fine. So I know it takes very little of your hand warmth to warm up that bit, and you're good to go. Anyways, today I want to talk about setting up my landing. Now, I've only been here, I've been here off and on quite a bit actually. Haven't been very productive at all, but I'm hoping that today might be the very first day even that I'm able to work a full day. My hand, as you know, I had an operation on my hand, and it is getting better day by day, but it's been kind of slow. I would have preferred it to be, 100% right off fast, but it just hasn't happened that way. But anyways, it's getting better every day. So I kind of started out at a couple hours a day, and then I progressed to a half a day. And so hopefully today I can get a full day in. So anyways, as we go throughout the day, I'm not going to talk. I'm just going to put the camera out here in my landing and show what's going on. And then I would just talk over and explain kind of how to set up a landing, or how I've set up this landing for this particular job. So let's get into this video and we'll see how things go. So this log job is a marked lot that a forester came and marked, and it's all hardwood. It has a lot of, it was a sugar bush, and so there's a lot of trees in it that are not very good. So the majority of the stuff I'm bringing out is just going to ended up being firewood. Off to our right, beside the skid steer, is the firewood pile. Now I have chosen to just bring these firewood pieces out and cut them into pieces anywhere from, 8 foot to 30 foot long in this pile. And all I'm trying to do is just quickly get it off my landing, pile it up, and my goal is to finish this log job by the end of March. And sometimes I look at the job and think, yeah, I'm going to be able to make it. And other times I look at it and said, my goodness, there's a lot of blue paint around here. I don't know if I can get it done. So anyways, that's what I'm striving to do, to get it done in a short period of time. So I'm going to put all the firewood in a pile, and I probably won't cut it up or do anything with it even for a year. I want to let it dry and sell it for dry firewood, because it'll bring more money. So that's what's happening in that pile off to our right. I do have a market for pallet logs close by, and this beech log right here probably could have been a pallet log, but it was already starting to rot out, and it's just no good for pallet logs, so it's going to go into the firewood pile. Here I'm starting the skid steer up, and it's a cold day, but I'm very impressed how well it starts up. I have to sit there quite a while to warm up before I can use it.
And so I don't have to mark any of this stuff up. I'm just kind of just cutting it into sizes that I want and lengths that I want, you know, and just putting them in the pile. Directly in front of the horses is a pile of mostly basswood logs and firewood for basswood firewood. And the firewood pieces will go to my outdoor wood furnace because they're not really valuable for firewood. And then there's a bunch of saw logs in there also that will go, and I will put them into through my mill to make basswood lumber out of. Off to our right is a pile of pallet logs, which should have been a little bit closer to where I'm at, but with the skid steer I can easily just pick up the logs and take them over there if I don't bring them right to the pile with the horses. I do have a set of chains that I need to get on this skid steer. As time progresses here, the landing will get slipperier and slipperier, and so the chains are really helpful as far as being able to get around on the landings. All of this frozen hardwood is quite slippery. When it is on my forks, it tends to slide right off. The beech seems to be by far the worst, but it's a challenge, that's for sure, to get the pieces perfectly centered on the wood weight-wise. And perfectly centered on the forks weight-wise, so that I can get them over to the pile and piled up. So here I'm coming out with a nice maple piece, and it looks nice on the outside, but it's actually hollow. So I'm going to have to cut some pieces out of it to be able to get a couple logs from this. I'm curious how many people noticed I have a soft tire coming out with that load right there. I could see it was kind of soft, so I had to take it home the next day and put some air in it. So what I'm doing here is sticking my bar in to see how far that hollow spot is, and kind of getting an estimate of how much I need to cut off it before it's good. So I cut this, I don't know, 4-foot piece off the butt and found out that it still was kind of punky, and so I needed to cut even a little bit more off. Okay, that's much better. So now I'm just going to jump up on the log and measure off 10 feet, actually about 10 and a half feet. My tape that you've seen me use that I stick into the log and walk with it works great, but with this frozen maple, it's kind of hard to get the point to stick and to stay into this wood. So being just pallet logs mostly, it's just not that crucial, so I just walk it off with my feet. The end pieces that I have here are anywhere from 2 to 4 feet long, and I just kind of push them over into a pile. And what I'll probably do with that is come back and with my trailer, maybe dump my dump trailer and put it on the dump trailer and take it home, and then cut it into the lengths that work for my outside furnace, and that will work fine. So I'm bringing the first log over to the pallet pile and pushing the rest of these chunks out to the pile that goes to my place. This log here looks a little bit better than most of the pallet logs, so I'm going to set it into a different pile that I will save for possibly, if I have enough of it, to go to a different mill with a little bit higher quality logs, so I should make a little bit more money on them. So that's where I'm putting these logs in a pile by themselves. So every landing or every log job that I go to is a little bit different than the one from before. So you kind of got to tweak this setup every time. And, you know, you have different markets for different things. So having these different piles really helps me out here. So I hope this gives you a better idea as to what goes on in a logging operation like mine. So I was able to log with Lady and Bill all morning, and then after lunch, I brought Duke out, Duke and Bill together, and they worked great. Later in the day, I had a visitor. Lauren came out. Lauren was the person on the video I did yesterday. She wanted to come out to see my horse logging operations. So here she is, driving the horses for me. Have a great day.